Hey, what's up, Instagram? Whew, it's been a minute since I've gone live on this platform. But I'm going live today. I'm gonna try to wait a second or two. Maybe share this link with a couple of peoples. Let them know. Let a couple of friends know I'm going live, I suppose, before I get it cracking. I'm not gonna wait long though, because I got stuff to do. So on this day in 2019, I was moving, and I mean almost nobody around me believed me that I was leaving, and I was very, very happy that no one believed me, because in the situation that I was putting myself in, the most dangerous time in your life, if you are in a relationship that is abusive, the most dangerous time is when you decide to take your power back and take away access, and take away the abuser's ability to continue doing what they do. And the first serious time that I had actually attempted to pull the plug, seriously stand on business with this particular person. And I am going to say his name, because why the fuck would I ever protect an abuser? I don't protect any of them anymore. He goes by DJ D. Chappelle. Over there in that part of the country, he's, I guess, or at least used to be, a bit of a big deal, I guess. Many abusers had their way with me, and I got to a point. Okay, let me rewind. The very first time I stood on business with him, he is the very last abuser in my life, starting with a long line of them. The first one, unfortunately, being my father. When he realized for the first time that I was done, that I had gotten to a place in life where I was taking back my personal power, and I broke up with him, we were on the phone, and I did not know that he was on his way to my home. And he came into my home unannounced, and he beat me so bad that to this day I don't have memory of half of that experience. I just remember him coming in through my garage. I hadn't even had a chance yet to change my garage code, locks, any of that stuff. I just broke up with him via telephone and told him, I'm done. Like, there's nothing else to talk about. And he kept, saying the same things, a lot of them. He had this whole, almost like the script. He would say, I love you. I'm in love with you. I love you more than life itself. Don't do this to me. And he would talk about how, his mom didn't really love him and everybody leaves him. And he's got all these people listening to him on the radio, but they're not really listening to him. He's still alone, and all this dumb stuff that for a while, because I was a very compassionate person. And for whatever reason, there is this thing that I think that too many Black women have, and I have, because I used to have, and I think it's because I was conditioned to be that way, this unhealthy allegiance toward loving the Black man and trying to love him out of his inadequacies and out of his bullshit. And that's where I was for way too long. But again, if you've been raised to kind of be a certain way and to be an enabler, and I was, that's what it is. You guys like my new Salagami ring? Hey, happy birthday to me. Yep. Had to go in and get them new infinity stones. Anyway, he came into the house unannounced. I remember he snuck up on me. I had no idea he was even on his way to my home. And at this time, I was 120 pounds, so still very petite. And I remember feeling like I just was a rag doll, because he kept picking me up and continuously throwing me around my house, like throwing me into the wall, throwing me into the stairs, just like back and forth, like literally picking me up and throwing me. And I'm not quite sure everything else that happened after a couple of minutes of that. I do remember going for my house phone and him snatching it from me and throwing it across the house and seeing it shatter. I remember grabbing my cell phone and him taking my cell phone and throwing it as well. And a couple of minutes into him, yelling at me, calling me all kinds of names, because he thought that I was leaving him for someone else. Not that I'm leaving you because you are a monster, but because he actually thought that I was actually breaking up with him. It was that part that set him off. And I just remember waking up, like, I don't even know to this day, I don't know how long I was unconscious, but I remember waking up in another area of my home. And when I woke up, I just remember there was blood all around my head on the ground, and hearing him. And it took me a while to get up, because I had the pain was worse than childbirth, emanating from my head, and I would later find out why. But in that moment, I struggled to get up, and he was cowering on my kitchen floor, screaming, "No, no!" And he had his hands up here too, because I remember seeing that. And I think he was doing that because he thought he killed me. He thought I was dead. And when he saw that I was getting up and moving, then all of a sudden he went immediately from that to, babe, don't move, and trying to act like he cared about me, but he still refused to take me to the hospital. By the time I was finally able to be treated at a hospital, I do recall having to have my face sewn up and having 9 stitches in my face. And I guess I'll have the scars forever. It was 3 stitches here, 3 stitches in here, 3 stitches here. So those scars will always be there. I had my jaw broken on both sides of my face. I suffered a pretty significant concussion, which caused some issues with memory and other, brain issues, PTSD and trauma that I deal with therapy and medication, probably forever. After that, I thought to myself, in order to get away from him and to get away from my ex-husband, who also took pleasure in finding out that I got beat by my boyfriend, and actually came to me under the auspice of trying to help me when I was at the hospital, but he literally only came to gloat to my face that my boyfriend had beat me. So I was surrounded by a lot of just monsters, and I was completely unprotected. I knew that I just needed to get the fuck out of the life that I had. And there were so many women who would say to me, I need to take this to God and I need to pray, and basically, you made your bed, now lie in it and do it the best you can, because I should be a strong black woman and just take this shit. So I was like, fuck that. I don't want any part of this life and all of these people anymore. I'm done with it. But I also knew that I had to be safe about leaving, because this was my first time trying to shut the door in that manner, and look what happened. And I'd also had a crazy ex-husband who was still stalking me, who had pulled a gun on me before, who has a very unhealthy attachment to children. My children were not safe with him. His own child wasn't safe with him that he had with the first wife, and then ours weren't either. So it was too much, and I needed to get the hell away. It just wasn't a life for me, and I'll be damned if I stay in a life that's fucked up. So I said to myself, I need a new life, and I deserve to have the life that I want, and it's not here, and it for damn sure can't be around these people. So when I decided to leave, I knew that if I mentioned it, they probably wouldn't believe me, and I mean, no one did, and that was great. I also knew that I needed to be kind of just wise about the way I moved. So I took a year or two to try to gather my courage, try to figure out some sort of a plan, look for opportunities. And when I made up my mind, it led me up to this day in 2019. I would say a month or two prior, I decided to change my telephone number and not tell anyone. So people were, sending me, some people like messages on social media saying, hey, what's wrong with your phone? Did it get cut off? Yeah, it got cut off. That's what it was. I just believe whatever you need to believe about me that's going to keep me safe. That was pretty much it. And from there, I said, I don't really know how to make this happen, but it's got to happen. I can't wait another year, because another year could mean my life. Because I'd already backed out a year, I backed out a year prior. And then I started noticing, okay, these patterns are not going to change. When a person abuses you, they'll go through a cycle of the honeymoon period. Then they'll go through, it seems like it's kind of a slow boil getting back up to that bad point. And at this point, I saw it starting to kind of boil and get closer to that bad point again. And I just knew I might not survive this cycle again. So I gotta get the hell up out of here. So I started just getting rid of everything in my house. And I remember him making jokes about it and thinking I was just maybe having some emotional breakdown. Like when she cuts her hair, not your woman, like if a woman cuts her hair or she decides she's going back to school or something like that, people who look down on you, or they're only used to you being like that struggling baby mama, or they're used to seeing you one way and they seriously underestimate you. They don't take these things seriously. I did not care. Make fun of me. Don't take it serious. That was good for me. So whenever he saw me doing those things, I was getting rid of, I had to get rid of everything. I had spent some time working up a wardrobe. Like, one part of my closet was all my performance clothes. Hi, Jason. Another part of my closet was like my regular clothes. I had started a daycare in my house. I had to shut down that business. I tried to sell my book of business, and people were just like, what's going on? This doesn't make any sense. And I was fine with that. Please think that I'm losing my mind, or I'm having some manic episode. That's great. That keeps me safe. So I just started giving away, everything. I gave away everything in my home. I didn't even have time to sell it. And then it got down to my last night being there. And I think the ex-boyfriend, at that time, when he came over and he saw that my house was empty, it started to click a little bit. So he came over and brought me boxes one night and tried to pretend like he was trying to help me move. And then when he saw there was nothing left in my house, he started doing that thing again. Please don't do this to me. Don't leave me. I love you. I'm in love with you. I love you more than life itself, and all this stuff. Mind you, this is the man that almost killed me. The last time I told him that I was done with him. I don't remember all of that discussion. I just remember trying to placate him to where I let him believe that I was just having some moment, and that maybe I was just going to go take a drive or explore something and I'd be right back. And he made a lot of jokes, and his friends were like, yeah, we'll see her when she gets right back. This was on this day 5 years ago, when me and one of my girlfriends packed my little kids into my tiny ass Nissan Versa. And all that I could take with me was whatever fit in my trunk. And I had $200 to my name. That is it. And I drove from Oklahoma nonstop to Jersey. I had a girlfriend that was like, my house is little as hell, but, come here. Nobody knows the address. Let's keep it that way. Let's get you here. Let's get you safe, and let's start the life over. And that's what I did. And it's interesting because that was on this day 5 years ago. And I imagined certain things for myself, but as a single mother of 4 who was, at that time I was so poor I couldn't even I could only spell P-O. And things aren't amazing financially now. And this is Moissanite, so I'm not even gonna try to flex the floss and lie to you, but the girl is wearing these stones very well. Happy birthday to me. This is my Salagami ring. I love it. But my life is so different, and the things that I complained about are not the things that I'm complaining about now. And I say this because I tell a lot of women's stories. I read a lot of women's stories. And earlier today, I learned of a story of a woman my age who, her situation and her family situation was not the same. I'm really grateful because, again, when you decide to leave an abuser, that is the most dangerous time of your life. And I've unfortunately, growing up in the church and being a pastor's daughter, I've had to attend and sometimes serve or even sing at funerals of women who didn't make it out. I did. I'm very grateful. I had to be as wise as I could. And a lot of these women, they're as wise as they can when they try to leave and they still don't make it. So I don't take, this life that I have, I don't take it I don't take any of it for granted. I mean, even now there is the struggle because abusers, a lot of them, they never stop. Lucky for me, that one, DJ D. Chappelle, that's still on the radio to this day in Oklahoma and very protected, and people still think he did nothing to me. And I'll say his name, and you know why he can't sue me? Because it's the truth. It's the truth. But lucky for me, he never had the courage to continue. And I was afraid for the first year that he would come out there, he would find me. And I'm so glad that he just went on. And I think his mother passing away shortly after I left, that probably helped perhaps. But the other abuser, the ex-husband, the cop, he will never stop. He's probably never going to stop until he's dead, or until my kids are grown enough to actually say, to actually have a say in the face of the law. It's a really fucked up situation to ever come across an abuser, because they're like roaches. They don't stop until they're squished. They're like rabid dogs. They don't stop until they're put down. And unfortunately, I'm still fighting that fight with that fool. But I'm grateful for, I would say, grace and protection, and doing every single thing that I can to continue to keep me and my children safe. I'll say that. And I'm trying not to give them too much time, because it's not about them, it's about me and the life that I've been able to create for myself, which is why that motherfucker is mad and he can go to hell. I really wish he would, like today. The complaints that I used to have are so different now that I decided to wholeheartedly go in the direction of my goals, my dreams, and my desires, and what's good for me and my kids, and only focus on that, versus allowing any other man to have power, to have dominion over me and my life. And I had to give up a whole lot to get here, and I would do it again and again. It's made my life not lonely, but I would say alone in a lot of ways, and I'm so good with that. I am at so much peace with knowing that there's not that many people in me and my children's life, but we have structure, we have safety, we have stability, things that I just almost never had the majority of my life. What's the point? I guess that is the point. I just wanted to share that on this day, like this is my anniversary, and this is my anniversary ring. On this day in 2019, I made a promise to myself that my life belongs to me. Forever. Now, henceforth, and forevermore, my life is mine. And my life is mine, my body is mine, my dreams, my goals, my visions, and I will never let another XY get in between that. I dated a guy for a couple years here, but once I realized that he wasn't really about that life, and he wasn't standing on business like he should, goodbye. Bye. And I feel proud of myself for being able to do that instead of suffering with another fool. It feels great. So today my complaint is that I was here in the city that I'm at. I'm trying to be careful with what I say and how I say, because I don't want to violate this NDA. Even that feels good to say that. It's normal to a lot of people that I know now, but it's still not normal to me.
You made it.
Let me pause this.
Hey.
But, the complaint that I have today is that I signed an NDA, so I can't say what I really want to say to y'all. And I was here filming for a really dope competition, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this city for more days than I anticipated, and I'm still waiting on their travel department to book a flight that's actually not going to cancel to get me back home. So I'm stuck. Oh man. What am I going to do? I'm stuck in this hotel that's everything is paid for another couple of days. That's my complaint today. I say that not to flex, because I'm still kind of struggling, single mother of 4. Like, that struggle is still real. Not as bad as it used to be, thank goodness. But man, things have changed a lot. And I hope this is inspiring, because there are so many things that I was told, and that I even told myself, that I couldn't do because I'm a single mother of 4. But on the flip side of that, another perspective that's equally, if not more true, that I decided to commit myself to was because I'm a struggling single mom of 4. That's the reason why I should go do these things and find a way to make it work. And I swear, every single time, I didn't know how it was going to happen. I didn't know how I was going to get support, how I was going to get the help I needed, and everything else. every time I decided to step out there and take another opportunity and allow my gifts to make room for me, like, I have not been failed. The universe has never failed me. God has not failed me. Whatever you want to call it, it has not failed me, and I don't think that it ever will. And that's what these fools, abusers look for women that have something that I have in me. They look for someone who has a light. They look for someone who is better than them, but you may not know it. They look for people who are compassionate, that they're spiritual vampires. They're freaking predators. They're like, they suck your soul dry, but you got to have something there. You have to have something good there for them to feed off of, because they have nothing good in them. So they got to get it from somewhere. And that's why they will latch on to certain women like you that may be watching, because you're everything that they're not, and they hate it. They want you to think that you are so beneath what you actually are, and they need to do and say things to try to make you feel like you're not beautiful, you're not talented, you're not worthy. And that's another reason why they'll go look for single mothers and stuff too, because automatically they think, because you're in a vulnerable position, that they're going to be able to keep you down. And these motherfuckers will also try to baby trap you. The ex-husband, my youngest 2 children, that's how I had both of them. This motherfucker told me he got me pregnant with the first one to try to sit me down as soon as we got married, so that I would stop acting, I would stop performing. And when I decided I was done with his raggedy ass, he also told me that's why I got you knocked up with the boy, because now you can't divorce me because you're pregnant again. Guess what, homie? With all 4 of my babies in tow, fuck you, and I'm out, still out. And that's why he's big mad. But they will do anything that they can to try to trap you, to try to sabotage your life. What was that lady? She said they'll try to satellize your name. They'll try to, how did she say sabotage? They'll try to satellize you. But they will. They do all that because they can't survive on their own. They can't make their own dreams come true. Hell, they don't even have any damn dreams for themselves. They ain't shit. Okay, they ain't shit. So they try to latch onto people like you. You make them look good. Every time they put you down and they put you in their place, which is basically, underneath their foot. I grew up seeing this as well. And I have a video series on my new channel, my YouTube channel, Darling Nikki, that talks about all the stuff that I saw growing up that led me into a life of being someone that was in and out of different forms of abuse for quite some time. I grew up, my father's a narcissistic abuser. He may not have been physically abusive to my mother, but the truth is the truth. He treated her like shit. He talked to her like shit. She went from a woman, I'm a mother's child. She looked way better than I look, way better than me on my best day. My mother is a freaking goddess, and she still is to this day. But he, go back and see pictures of her when she was in her 20s and her 30s, and then think about all the women that you see in your life that stop taking care of themselves, that gain weight, that get unhealthy, that start getting real goofy and stuff for the sake of some man's ego, that hide their own light, that don't step in the forefront, that are incredibly talented, that could be doing so many things, but all they do is serve their master, which is their man. I grew up seeing that crap. And so I was kind of proselytizing to being that woman for quite some time. And when I decided to be done with that and to really step into my own light and stay there and stand on business and not go back and forth, it cost me my family. It cost me my relationship with my parents. It cost me everything. It cost me a whole lot of friends, who decided to still be that fool's fan and who decided to, or who would try to tell me that, I should honor my man or honor my husband as I honor Christ or some crap like that. So basically keep me and my kids in these fucked up situations for the I don't want to be, if that's what being Christ-like is, then you can keep all that crap, okay? I don't want it. So it cost me everything. But everything that it cost me, I would do it again and again and again to be on this side where my life with me and my kids, it has peace, it has structure. Every time I feel concerned about how am I going to make this work, or do I not have enough provisions, every single time when I tell you that it shows up for me sometimes in the nick of time, and I would really love for it to be better than that, and we'll get there. But the majority of the support that I've gotten for almost anything that I want to do in this world and this life so far has come from complete strangers who are just a part of my vibe tribe. Like, you know what, I overcame this, I overcame that, and I want to see you do the same thing. And that's the thing, a lot of these people in your life, because they're not winning, or maybe they didn't overcome them demons, a lot of them are not happy to see you slay them same damn demons. You would think that they'd be happy about you trying to break generational curses or make things better for you and your children, especially if they're in your bloodline and you trying to change things for the bloodline. Oh, hell no. They get mad at that shit and they'll call you all kinds of stuff. And they don't want to see you win. Because for some reason they're stuck in their ego, and it makes them look at themselves in a bad light instead of them deciding to be inspired to do the same thing and be happy that you're doing it for you and yours. I guess that's it. That's the post. I just wanted to come on here. Celebrating my 41st birthday in a really amazing way. For my birthday this year, I got to be a part of a production that, has been really incredible. Unfortunately, my team was the first one to get slaughtered. We got mollywopped. However, being a part of the production was still amazing. There's a purpose in everything. It ain't over yet. I know that. Whatever, there's more to come from that. I know it. I can feel it. The way that the production team has taken care of me, especially during this time of things being really uncertain. I don't know what's going on, if it's a cyber attack or what. I know that right before I left in New Jersey, there was a sonic boom, and they're literally like, this is legit. You can read it from NASA in the news, but there was a meteor that was coming and headed like right over New Jersey, but it disintegrated before it touched down. And then all of a sudden, like days later, we got all this crazy cyber stuff happening. I don't know if it's connected, but it's real interesting. But these are my problems now. My problems are I'm stuck in a hotel and my flight got canceled twice, and I'm waiting on handlers to safely get me back home, and I had to get security to get permission to have some more groceries and stuff brought up to my room. That's my complaint today versus on this day 5 years ago. I'm trying to figure out how I can safely leave this life behind and leave this crazy ex-boyfriend and him not go the fuck off of me and try to kill me again. And by the way, I can never get a conviction. I tried. I pressed charges. And the same thing with the ex-husband, who would still stalk me, show up at places. If he thought I was dating somebody, their car would get vandalized, or they would get, something would happen to them. And I told, even now in court, I told the courts, I have all this evidence. Look, this is what he did to me. This is what he did to my kids. But I think it's because he's a cop. They get away with everything. I had to get away from so much hell. And that is what was in my face. And those were my complaints 5 years ago on this day, 6 years ago on this day. My complaints were, I think this man might kill me, or I'm afraid to go here, or I'm afraid if I go to this gig, is he going to show up here? I'm grateful. And I'm really glad that when I had the courage to leave it all behind, that for whatever reason there was this grace that covered me to be able to do it, and covered my children so far, and I'm still expecting it to continue that way. If you are in an abusive relationship, I will say this: when you make the decision to leave, you cannot vacillate, you cannot look back, you almost can't tell anybody. Don't trust your girlfriends, don't trust your relatives. A lot of these people will still go behind your back and be so wishy-washy, and still we live in a very patriarchal society that is very male-centered, and you can't trust a lot of these people because they'll go and they'll tell that man, or they'll try to, force you to work it out. If you don't deserve to be abused anyway, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, in any way, abuse is abuse, and it always gets better. It always gets worse. It always gets worse. It never gets better. It never gets better. And it's not your job to try to help somebody get better or make it better. Your job is only you and your kids. Do everything you can to get the hell away from it, because you never know if it's your last moment and if you won't be able to survive it later. It's worth giving up your entire life. If you're in an abusive situation, it's not a life that's worth staying in that way, either way. Give it all up. Get the hell away. There's always a plan. Fuck your job. Fuck your nice stuff. Fuck your house. Fuck them, people that, you still want to have a relationship with. If they really love you, they understand. They'll be in full support. And you see them when you see them. There are jobs everywhere. There are other people's houses. Make some friends in another country. Whatever you got to do. Be wise. There are resources. Look for them. if you have to go to a shelter, because if I had to do that, that was going to be my next step. Humble yourself and get your ass in a shelter, get to safety. Everything that you are waiting on and all those different goals and dreams and stuff, I swear, if you can think about it, if you can conceive it in your mind, if it's something that's deep down in your heart, there's no way God's going to give you a vision that you actually can't be able to one day actually achieve and live. I promise you can. You really, really can. But the first thing you have to do is be willing to give up the life that you already have right now. That obviously, if you're still watching this, it's a life that's not worth, staying in it as it is. And I as in staying in that situation. So let me make that clear. So be willing to give it all up. Everything that you really, really, I think, want and that you're waiting for, it's on the other side of fear. And staying in that fear or that complacency or that dumb shit that, people will try to repeat, like it's better to deal with the devil. I know. No, it's better to not deal with any devils at all. Okay? Be that radical. It's worth it. Is it easy? No. But is it easy staying in a situation that's fucked up? Hell no. It's going to be hard either way, but choose your hard. One of them leads to a life that does and that can get easier. And you're going to trade your complaints and your sorrows for other complaints and sorrows. Again, like the complaint that I have right now. And again, I don't have a lot to brag about. I'm not rich at all. But I'm laughing and I'm smiling and I'm happy, as I should be, because I did the work and I'm always doing the work to be able to create days like today for me and for my children, and days, next week, next month, next year that continually get better. And ever since I decided to walk away from everything and everyone that was contributing to a life that had me so depressed, that had me downtrodden, and I mean in every way, that had me oppressed, that had me in poverty, stuck in poverty, like yuck, that had me, continue to want to settle for men who did not mean me any well, who would put their hands on me, who would call me out my name, who would try to control me. Ever since I decided to give all that bullshit up, my life has continued to get nothing but better. It hasn't been without its challenges. And again, like I said, that stupid motherfucking, that cop ex-husband, he's still coming for me and the kids. But there's enough distance between us, and at the end of the day, the truth is going to continue to stand on its own, and I'm going to do everything I can. And I appreciate all the people that continue to contribute to the GoFundMe, that are reach out to me behind the scenes, trying to help me with legal action and stuff like that. Again, I don't even think I would have that support if I didn't decide to make the choices that I made to get the hell away. I had to stand on business, and when you decide to stand on business, the universe will stand with you. All right, that's it. I got some other phone calls to make because I'm trying to get back home to my babies. Bye, y'all.